Hey there, I'm Jesse, and you're listening to the Deep Lore Boys podcast, where me, Matthew, and Jackson delve into the random, rare, and often ridiculous pieces of human history.
There was a headstone.
An unnamed cow exploded.
The guy had a 4.5 foot long beard. He's an actual wizard.
A rogue pair could take you out. He literally...
Oh, bro.
The list of unusual deaths. If you've never visited Wikipedia's list of unusual deaths, you are missing out. I found this years ago, and I've been waiting to talk about this since before the podcast even began. And it would appear today is the day.
Oh, we are here at long last. This has been a running topic for quite a bit.
Every time we sit down to record, we're like, is it time? Are we in the mood to discuss?
Could today be the day?
This topic comes up every time.
Could it be?
I've never looked through any of this, so I don't know exactly what this is.
Basically, this list compiles a bunch of historical people who died in just really unusual, dumb ways. There's a guy who got hit on the head with a turtle shell that a bird dropped. There's all kinds of goofing stuff.
The eagle mistook Aeschylus's bald head for a rock to shatter the shell.
I want to know, did it work?
I don't know.
No, I think it shattered his head, not the shell.
The turtle walked away fine.
What a way to go.
What a way to go.
This is like every time you have first place in Mario Kart, there's always that like blue shell that just like flies out of nowhere. This is exactly what that is. Like,
the funny thing was, he was out in a field because there was a prophecy about him that he would die from a falling object. So he was like, oh, I got to get away from, bookshelves and rooftops and, anywhere where things could fall.
Oh, no.
Poor guy.
No.
The prophecy found a way.
Dude, that is beautiful. He was a tragedian? How do you pronounce this? Tragedian? Tragedy?
Yeah, he wrote tragedies.
Yeah, basically, this has to be fake. That can't be a real story.
I think it's all real until proven fake. That's our motto. I do want to say, little disclaimer, life is precious, and I don't want to, make light of people dying necessarily. But most of the ones we're going to be covering today happened hundreds, if not thousands of years ago. And if I died in a goofy way, I'd want to be remembered for that. I would, at least. So we're going to treat these with respect, but also appreciate what comedy can be found. Because if you can't laugh at the cruelty of the world, you toast.
Can you talk about this guy Zeuxis, who there's this old woman who insisted on... she commissioned a painting of Aphrodite from him, and she insisted on modeling for it. And apparently his painting, after it was done, looked so goofy that he died from laughing at it.
What?
He drew a painting and thought it was so bad. He died of laughter.
I think the funniest part about that is that the painting, obviously would have taken a long time to make. So he probably spent, days on this and then stopped, stepped back,
looked at it and just lost it.
Lost his mind.
They have to have this painting that killed him. Somebody has to have it.
I want to be honest. I think they got rid of it. I think they were like, this looks so bad, there's no way we're going to keep this.
No, if it killed him...
If it was that funny, dude.
I have to find this.
This one's kind of similar. Chrysippus of Sali.
Oh, Chrysippus.
Oh, yeah. He died of laughter after he saw a donkey eating his figs. He told a slave to give the donkey neat wine to drink, which was to wash them down. And then having laughed too much, he died.
Poor Chrysippus, dude.
I feel like if you're gonna die, though, dying laughing at your own joke is not really that bad.
That's a really good way to go out.
That's a good way to go.
It just makes me sad because it means that, we couldn't have any more goofiness.
Yeah, one of the emperors of China, Qin Shi Huang, he died from ingesting a bunch of mercury pills, believing that it would make him immortal.
That is sad.
That is a sad way to go. He's a guy that owned the Terracotta Army, apparently.
Valentinian the First, the Roman emperor. I did not know this is how he went out. He literally died of a stroke by yelling at foreign envoys so angrily that he just snapped and died. That is wild.
Dude, inside voices, man. I love this one, Antiphanes in 310 BC. He was a renowned comic poet. So he was doing a comedy routine and somebody threw a pear at him and he died.
Oh,
He just-
no. Imagine throwing a pear at somebody and that kills him.
Was that like the
I'd feel
like
terrible.
was a pear like the 300 BC version of the tomato? Like, was his comic routine that bad?
No, I think it was that good. He thought it was funny.
Oh,
Maybe that's what it was. He was tossing him a pear just like as a kind gesture.
If I was at like a comedy show and somebody threw a pear at me, I'd be like, this is funny.
I found another dude who died of laughter, Martin of Aragon. He had just eaten an entire goose, and then his
Wow.
favorite jester entered his bedroom, and when Martin asked where he had been, the jester said, "Out of the next vineyard, where I saw a young deer hanging by his tail from a tree, as if someone had so punished him for stealing figs." And Martin thought that was such a knee slapper, he died. He literally...
Oh, bro. They really, dude. Bora the Jester really just really
he
just
hit it out of
got
the park
him.
with that one. Knock him dead.
Yes.
Maybe it's a good thing that Antiphanes got killed by that pair, just got sniped. Maybe they were doing like a service to the public.
There's a lot of people on this seem to have died from laughing.
You guys know the tragedy of Francois Vettel? He was this chef and he had like 2,000 people over to this feast.
Ooh.
And he was so stressed about the seafood being late that he committed suicide with his sword. And then his body was discovered when
No.
someone came to tell him that the fish had arrived.
No, that's so sad.
It is kind of actually
No.
really tragic now that I say it out loud. It wasn't worth it, man.
Francois, dude, really?
Yeah,
That is such a terrible way to go.
he was stressed out.
I mean, I guess it was France.
Yeah, I mean, they've beheaded people for less.
oh, and of course Tycho Brahe.
Oh,
Tycho
good old
Brahe.
Tycho Brahe,
Rest
gone too
in
soon.
peace. Dude, he was a legend among men. So for those of you who didn't listen to the Tycho Brahe episode back in
Episode
last
22
season,
of season 1.
yeah, Tycho Brahe was an astronomer. He refused to go to the bathroom at a banquet because he thought it would be a breach of etiquette. And even like his assistant, like his apprentice, was like insistent. He's like, "Dude, just go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom." And he's
Just
like,
pee.
No. And he held it for way too long, found himself in excruciating pain, and then he passed away.
I will say, I mean, like, I just kind of made a joke about it earlier on, but like, he was a really cool guy.
He
Like,
was
a really amazing
awesome.
guy. But
I mean, I'm not sure if we can say he was an amazing guy. Like, we don't know him personally. We can't say if he was a good person or not.
he was a really
But-
cool guy.
Evidently, he was very well.
He was
well
interesting.
mannered. If he refused to go to the bathroom for the sake of breaching etiquette, evidently he was well mannered.
Well, you want to know another guy who committed to what was expected of him was this guy, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, Molière, Jean-Baptiste Poquelin. He was a French playwright, and he was in a show, and he had a hemorrhage caused by tuberculosis mid-show. So he was convulsing, but he disguised his convulsions as part of the show, and the show ends with his character dead in a chair, so he just plopped down, and they carried him off stage in the chair to his house where he later died. But he went
This-
out like committed to his character.
This is the best method actor in history.
Yeah.
For real.
He is the best actor in history. How have we never heard of him?
This isn't
I
even
don't
just an
know.
unusual death. This is just an amazing performance. That
I mean,
ended
it's a
with death.
tragic death for sure, but this is probably one of the best actors ever.
Man, that goes hard. I hope that someday when I have convulsions on the podcast, I can also disguise it.
Yeah, we'll just be like, "Hey, you good man? Ready to go to the
Like,
next
yeah.
topic?" But yeah.
The lizard people are possessing you or something. And like,
Yeah, when the lizard people try to possess me.
this is really interesting. Like he gave, I mean, and very respectable too. Like he really did give his life to acting.
And the fact that his character dies in the chair in the show and he just sat there until people carried him out. He never left the chair either. He died in that chair, it sounds like, because he was carried in it to his house. I mean, maybe they removed him and put him on a bed, but he
That's
effectively...
like poetic, dude. Like it's almost like he wanted to die that way and just
Yeah.
knew it and was just embracing it.
Eleazar Avaran, the brother of Judas Maccabeus, thrust his spear into the belly of an elephant, which collapsed on top of him and killed him.
Oh, that's
Darn.
unfortunate. That is unfortunate.
That is really unfortunate.
On
But
Louis III of France was apparently 18 years old, so he was still kind of a kid. So I kind of feel bad for him. He was mounted his horse and tried to chase down a girl who was running away from him back to her father's house. And apparently, as he was chasing her, he managed to get there, but hit his head on the door, on like the top of the door, and died.
I jumped to 1567 here, and Hans Steininger died from tripping on his own beard. Or no,
Yeah,
he broke
that's what
his
I was looking
neck
at.
by tripping over his own beard. This is the danger of No Shave November.
The guy had a 4.5 foot long beard. He's an actual wizard. Like, it makes me
Yeah, like, at that
mad that
point-
this killed him.
I think he can't have been 6 feet though. If he had a 4.5 foot long beard and was tripping over it.
He probably wasn't. Maybe he was like 5 feet tall. That's fine.
Well, if he was like 5'5" and a little hunched over because of his age, like, yeah, that would do it.
Like, that's totally
I
fine.
guess
He was
that
an
does
older
make
man.
sense. Yeah.
Like,
Dude,
gracious.
short fellows are fellows too. We don't disrespect no short fellows here.
But if you have a 4.5 foot beard, you had better be proficient in the arcane arts or something, because there is no reason to have a beard that long.
I don't know. He was a burgomaster, so
Wikipedia specifies he usually kept it rolled up in a leather pouch, which means, like, he knew this was a problem.
yeah,
He had a plan.
Did he just not know how to shave? Did nobody ever tell him?
I guess, well, no, he must have kept it intentionally. Like, that was his choice. This is one that I wanted to devote an entire bit of the podcast to, but there's really not much to the story besides this bit. Frank Hayes, and a lot of people know about this guy, 4th of June, 1923, he was in a horse race and he died in the middle of the race, but won. Like, his horse crossed the finish line first. He was just a corpse by the time the horse crossed the line.
What?
So he
Oh.
died and still got the medal.
Yeah, he had a heart attack, it looks like, in the middle of the race.
Hold on, there was one that just says unknown Iraqi male. What is?
A shower of meteorites fell like rain on a village in Iraq. One
In
man
1888.
died, and another was paralyzed.
The man's death is
What?
considered the only credible case of death by meteorite. So the only dude to be killed by a meteorite, we don't even know his name.
We don't
It was in
know his name.
1888.
What do you mean
Oh.
we don't know his name? I guess there probably wasn't a whole lot left, but
Maybe his name was Rocky. In January of 1932, an unnamed cow exploded in Australia, of all places. I guess a
What?
dairy cow was partially blown up and killed on a farm. The cow had reportedly picked up a detonator in her mouth while grazing in a paddock. How the bomb got there, I don't know.
What?
It was only triggered later when the cow began to chew her cud.
So they just had a bomb in the field, and the cow just ate it and then
What the-
blew up?
It doesn't say anything about the detonator. What?
So how
What?
the?
Well, no, this okay, so in Mexico, in New Mexico, there was a cow in 1957 who was killed by a hydrogen bomb.
Accidentally jettisoned from a USAF B-36 bomber.
Yeah, but it blew up on impact, caused a crater 12 feet deep and 25 feet wide.
The U.S. Air Force paid the rancher compensation.
Apparently, it's a little dodgy, it's up in the air, but apparently the Air Force compensated him for the loss of the cow. That is unfortunate. I feel bad for that
Dude,
cow. I really
To
do.
be that cow,
That is unfortunate. I was
That's
just
unlucky.
at the fair today, and I got to pet the cows, and I got to see them and talk with the farmers and stuff. And like, that'd be sad if I was just chilling on my ranch, and then a hydrogen bomb
it
fell out of the
just
sky and
Well, okay,
blew
I
up
feel like
my
if the
cow.
bomb is able to cause a crater 12 feet deep, like that's not even a painful way to go. Like you die so quickly. You don't
Yeah,
even know
that's
what
the
hit
thing.
you.
It's dead, but you still just lost a cow. That sucks. I mean, that's
the
not
Air Force
good.
literally just flipped the bird to that cow in particular.
Poor cow.
Just took him out. Well, maybe there was more to this story. Maybe the cow knew too much, man.
Yeah, maybe the cow was like gonna spill the beans. It was like a whistleblower for something.
I don't know. That cow might have known where the one in the 1930s picked up the detonator from. Man, there are a lot of goofy ways people have gone out. This article, every time I read through the list of unusual deaths, I'm just reminded that at any point, literally any point, I could die. Like there was a
Yeah.
king here, King Henry, who died from a tile falling off a roof. Like anything could kill you at
Yeah,
any
you
time.
really, you
and it
never
just-
know. A turtle could fall out of the sky and hit
Hey.
you in the head.
A rogue pear could take you out.
And we're not here to scare anybody, make anybody uneasy. I don't want to focus too much on the macabre, but
I think it goes to show that you can spend your entire life like worrying and not walking out your door, or doing the opposite and like trying to become this unkillable monster who knows every form of martial arts under the sun. And you could still be killed by, a turtle falling out of the sky, or like you stub your toe and
it
get
really
infected.
is. It is very
It's humbling.
humbling. That's the word I'm thinking
It's humbling.
of.
So
Is, yeah.
stop worrying so much.
Don't worry. Kick back. Life is precious and short and fragile. That is something that is definitely made clear here.
I mean, heck, you could die laughing listening to a knee slapper told right here on the Deep Lore Boys podcast.
You could, and you know what? Then you would wind up on this list, and we would remember you. We'd probably talk about you in the next episode.
We probably would.
Yeah.
We can't just ignore that.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? Just say?
Do we release an apology video?
We'd have to. We'd make that. Guys, I want to apologize. We made a severe lapse of our judgment. We
Jackson, bring out the ukulele.
Yeah.
Matthew, keep petting Scout.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, man. We're gonna need it.
You think that would count as a toxic gossip train?
It might. The Great Michigan Pizza Funeral. Doesn't that sound like a really tear-jerking book or movie?
Sounds like a Five Nights at Freddy's incident.
It does.
That was a
This is
really
a-
dumb statement.
It's not even just the Michigan pizza funeral, it's the Great Michigan Pizza Funeral.
Yeah, this was a big deal. So I'll give you a quick rundown of the story. The FDA, this one time back in 1973, were like, guys, there's been a mistake. There's some bad mushrooms. A bunch of mushrooms went out and they might have botulism in them. So throw out anything that came in contact with these mushrooms. And so Mario Fabrini, the owner of this pizza shop, was like, you know what? Not only am I going to throw out these pizzas, but to show the public that I mean business when it comes to my food, I'm going to have a pizza funeral. So he got like the whole town together and ceremoniously dumped how many pizzas?
No, 29,000.
29,000 pizzas, almost 30,000 pizzas he dumped into the ground. This is like trauma-inducing. The amount of grief.
It is.
The governor of Michigan attended the pizza funeral. He was there.
What?
And apparently, during the event, Mario literally was cooking and feeding pizza to all the people there. Like, he was just making pizza live there. And people literally asked him if the pizza he was making was safe to eat. And he literally was like, the governor ate a piece and he's still alive.
The governor was not only there, he actually gave a speech.
Yeah, it says he
gave a speech about courage in the face of tragedy.
What?
Man, like, this was serious. And not only that, there was a headstone. There was like a legit like
Is the headstone still there, I wonder? Dude, do you think we could go to the cemetery where the pizza funeral was held?
Oh, hold on. I don't think there's not a headstone. It was there's a grave. Okay.
The mass burial.
This isn't just like they were burying pizza and the governor showed up. It was treated as a funeral.
Do you think they played Amazing Grace?
I don't think so.
I hope they did. I probably would have cried when I was there. Not probably, I would have. Oh, wait. The mushrooms came from East Palestine in Ohio.
What?
What is going on in that town?
For those of you that don't know, that's the same town that the train derailed in back in like February, and they had to blow up like the train, and it contaminated all the rivers.
Yeah.
So this town has two things going for it: botulism and train explosions.
Yes, both of which involve poisons.
But here's the tragedy. This is already sad enough on its own, but what ended up happening is after they buried these pizzas in front of the whole town, the FDA came out and was like, oh, never mind. False alarm. There was no botulism in the mushrooms.
Yeah. They just said that they were like, yeah, no, there was just all false alarm. Nothing was wrong.
And so Mario got fired up and sued the FDA.
No, he sued his suppliers, not the FDA. He sued the people that said there was botulism.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And he got $211,000 for it. $211,000, dude. Holy crap.
But about a third of that was needed to cover the legal costs of suing. So that wasn't great. And then in the early 80s, so about 7 years later, Papa Fabrini's Pizzas went out of business and Fabrini sold its assets for only $5,000.
No.
He is much more memorable than most pizza places are. I will give him that.
I would say he won. He won.
Well, I think the Great Michigan Pizza Funeral is a testament to this man's character. Like he said,
Yeah.
I'm not just gonna get rid of these. I could just burn them. I could just dump them in a landfill and leave it. But he, to show the public that he was serious, made this into a full-blown funeral, an event.
Oh, okay, so the grave is 18 feet deep. Okay, so they were like, I don't know if they thought we were gonna have zombie pizzas or something, because normally they dig them like they're 6 feet down. That's like 3 times that. So like, I don't know why they went that
Well,
deep.
they had to fill the hole.
I guess they did, but I'm thinking the pizzas were still in the plastic wrap because, like, you know, you get frozen pizzas in plastic. They were still in there, which means that they're still sealed. And I'm not gonna go the length and say maybe they're still good. Like this was like 50 years ago. Okay,
But
but
Mario Fabrini
just
made
thinking.
these, man.
Just to hear me out. If they're still in the plastic wrap and they're still down in there in the dirt, that many of them, you think that they're gonna fossilize? Like, do you think that in a
Yeah.
few thousand years, archaeologists will dig up a pizza grave and they'll be like, man, what kind of animal was this? I'd be like, dude, what?
It was some kind of
I guess
strange.
it's going to be like a big single-celled organism.
It was like
Yeah,
some
they're gonna be like,
strange
"What?"
conglomerate of these weird discs.
The plastic wrap will like kind of shape around the pizza and leave a very clear print. A lot of fossils that people dig up are actually like casts and like prints of something without the
Yeah, like the
actual
cast of
fossil.
the fossil, yeah.
Yeah. And this will definitely leave something in there.
I was gonna say that Mario Fabrini sounds like a very Italian name, but then I found out that apparently he's from Croatia or Yugoslavia in the 70s. But yeah, he's
Whoa,
not from
Oh,
Italy.
you're right.
dude, he is. He's from Yugoslavia.
Having lived under fascist rule and then in communist Yugoslavia, he immigrated to the US after World War II. He started making and selling frozen pizzas from his home kitchen.
Yeah, so his actual name is Ilario Fabrini, but he went by Mario once he moved to the US. He ended up serving in the Korean War, and he was one of the first people in Detroit to start delivering pizza, making a lot of the other pizza sellers angry because he delivered and like it was competition for them.
The pizza cartels. Like humble beginnings, bro. Holy crap. Bro came from nothing, started making pizzas. Like this isn't like the corporate sludge of like fake cookies and like, oh yeah, this is definitely my grandmother's recipe. Give me your money. Bro is actually making pizzas.
All legit. His wife helped him adapt traditional recipes of his hometown to suit American tastes.
He ended up saying that the pizza that Americans eat is actually better than the pizza that Italians get. So he was very proud of starting up an American pizza place. So his wife, when she was like, yeah, you need to change it and Americanize it, he viewed that as like perfecting it, not like I'm just Americanizing it to like change up the taste because these people have a weirder taste. He viewed that as better.
Imagine, 1,000 years from now, society has changed, the country has completely changed, this has been just forgotten. Archaeologists discover this mass grave of pizzas and they don't have any explanation. Maybe there's been like a nuclear war and, it's been lost to time. What are they going to think? This is one of those strange things where we look at Stonehenge or things like that and are like,
Yeah.
oh, what was it for? Was it for the stars? Was it some kind of arcane ritual?
A lot of our stuff, I don't know how people are going to be able to explain in the future what is going on now. Like, I don't think they're
going to be like, it was for
They'll be like,
religious
"What?"
significance.
Yeah,
that's
religious
just what they're going to say.
significance.
Religious significance. That's all they can really say.
It was an offering to the gods.
Dude, they totally will. That's going to be what they call it.
A sacrifice, should I say.
Hey again, it's Jesse. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Deep Lore Boys podcast. If you had fun, please share this episode with one of your non-reptilian friends, and we'll see you next time. Until then, I hope your day is nothing short of interesting. Take care.
I'm going to go post that one on twitter.com.